Good evening and welcome, everyone. Welcome to Political Forum. This is your chance to call in and talk live with elected officials in Chicago. Now, my name is Mike Jacobs, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications here at KNTV. And joining us tonight is 5th Ward Alderman Leslie Hairston. Nice to have you with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so this is your chance. For the next 25 minutes or so, please call in if you have a question, comment, or concern for Alderman Hairston. The number's at the bottom of your screen. 312-738-1060, 312-738-1060. And please, folks, tell your friends and family they can also watch this show online right now at cantv.org/hotline. So once again, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So let's kick off first. For folks who maybe don't know much about you or your ward, tell us about you, and your ward.
Well, I am a native of Hyde Park and South Shore. I was educated there. Let me see. I've been a lifetime resident. I'm an attorney licensed to practice here in the state of Illinois. And I'm serving my fourth term as alderman of the 5th Ward.
And for folks who need to get in contact with you, here's your information right here. 2325 East 71st Street. The phone number 773-324-5555. And you're also at lhairston@cityofchicago.org.
Yes.
And you also have your own website at leslieahairston.com. All right, so let's kick off tonight. Obviously, we are getting really close to the elections next month. So what's on your mind as we're moving forward?
Well, actually, I do have some exciting news. Yesterday at the ward meeting, we had one of the grocers who is about a week away to sign the lease at the vacant Dominic site. As you know, Dominic's closed all of their sites in the city of Chicago, and so we have a grocer now that has done something really special for the residents of South Shore and the South Shore community, and it's a prototype. And so we are taking the best from all of the stores around the city, and we are making it our own. And the hope is to expand it to 5 stores on the south side, and eventually build a distribution center. And so we're talking about more than 300 jobs. We're talking about a grocer that will do in-store cooking, that will have a place for you to sit and eat food, which is something that we've never had before, that we will have catering, that we are going to have a full selection of natural foods. We are going to do local hiring. We are going to pay more than the minimum wage and include a benefits package. We're going to have a juice bar. We're going to have all those things that everybody says that they want, that has not come to the neighborhood before, and I think that this is a perfect way to do it. And the community has been deciding what it is that they want to see in the grocery store, and so since there wasn't any one grocer that fit that model, we were able to work with someone that is able to do what it is that the community wants. So I'm really excited about that prospect.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of great stuff. We can get into a little more of that later on as we talk about economic development, but right now I believe we have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Sure am. Good evening, Alderman.
Good evening.
Do you have a question?
I'm speechless because I just heard you talk about exactly what my question was. I've been a 25-year resident of the 7th Ward, not in your ward, but I do live in South Shore, which spans both of those, and we've been missing a grocery store since Dominic shut down. And it sounds like you're talking about something that we've been talking about in the neighborhood for some time. It's a prototype grocery store that fits the bill, but it doesn't suffer the same shrinkage. Maybe it has some visionary thinking about how a grocery store is supposed to happen. Are we actually talking about the same proposal that was shot down by the South Shore Chamber of Commerce?
No,
different group.
No, this is not that.
So
this is not shop behind the glass and they do your shopping for you.
Okay.
This is a full out grocery store. You will be able to come in and sit down and have a meal prepared for you and sit in the store and eat it, just like we do at other grocery stores. It is somebody that has been in the grocery industry for a very long time. We just want some of the things that other people have. We are also looking at using local vendors that are local in Chicago, that we will carry their line of goods in this particular grocery store. The community hiring component. The other thing is that we will use places like my Gary Comer, the youth center in the college prep that
I know
has
it well.
all of that produce to be a supplier. So we are
Wonderful
really
gardening
talking
program.
homegrown. So I'm excited about this.
This is the kind of thing that just might make me move to the north side of 71st Street. Thanks
Well,
so much.
All right, let
Thanks
me
for being
just
on
say
Fan
that I'm
TV.
2 blocks from there. So I've been there over 40 years. So I'm impacted directly.
Well, thank you for that caller. So let's talk about more about this because you have some stats also talking about the food desert in that area, comparing, this area to other areas, in Chicago.
Well, the thing is if you look at between Midway Plaisance to the north and 87th Street to the south, King Drive to the lake, there are more than 136,000 people. That's enough people to make up the 6th largest city in the state of Illinois. That means that there's only one grocery store for every 47,000 people. Now, in communities that are well served by grocers, there's one grocer for every 11,000 people. So it's not just about this grocery store, it's about grocery stores on the south side.
Mm-hmm. And so now when you're talking about this, are we talking about obviously jobs? What does this mean for the community then? You're talking about minimum wage jobs, higher wage
No,
jobs?
we're talking about above minimum wage. We're talking about benefits packages. We're talking about employing more than 300 employees. I mean, this is what we need, to jumpstart our economy and to provide a much needed place in the ward. I mean, everybody has the desire or the need to eat. And while those of us are sitting around listening to the city announce grocery stores all around us, what about those of us that don't have any? And so I think, there was a lack of priority there. So I was just pleased to, having worked with someone several entities over the past year, to be able to finally get near to where we need to be.
So besides the grocery store, what other type of economic development is going on in the ward?
Well, so we just this spring opened, or the summer, I guess it was, the Dorchester Collaborative Housing, which we took affordable, actually scattered site housing and turned them into affordable housing, and then built a community arts center, and where we have artists in residence that teach the children that go to the school across the street, which is South Shore Fine Arts Academy. And in exchange for their housing, they teach the after-school programs. They have also been working in and around the community, doing the old Southmore Bank on Stony Island, which was been vacant for more than 30 years. People that are in the neighborhood know that it's been there forever. It was on the demolition list. And it was one of those structures where it was a beautiful structure, but we knew that it had been vacant for so long, and there was an artist named Theaster Gates that says, could I give it a stab? And so we said yes. And so now that's going to be the home of one of John Johnson's libraries. And we're working right now on bringing a restaurant there. But it's something that we collaborated with the community, and people participated, and they learned skills and helped to rehab that building.
Great. Do we have a call? I know we don't. I'm sorry. So let's talk about some more things. I just got the side twisted there. Project 120. We're talking about a visitor center in Jackson Park. There's a lot of news flowing out of this. You tell us something about it.
Okay, so Project 120 got its name because that's the age of Osaka Garden. And for those of you that are history buffs, way back, there was a pavilion there, and that pavilion burnt down and was never rebuilt. And so on the anniversary, we decided, or a group of people that were interested in that area had decided that, why don't we look at doing something that complements the park, that complements the garden again. And so over the past year and a half, almost 2 years, we've been talking, we've been hosting public meetings. We still don't have, the funding and all the things that need to go. But we have been looking at the papers. We have been trying to treat this, very sensitively to make sure that we do it in a very respectful way to enjoy the use of the park in the way that Olmsted wanted us to. And so there's been a lot of research done on the Olmsted papers, and so it is a very thoughtful process and approach to putting something in the park.
All right, folks. Well, it looks like we have about 15 minutes or so left in the show. If you have a question, comment, or concern for Alderman Hairston, please call the number at the bottom of your screen, 312-738-1060, 312-738-1060. Okay, so now news just came out recently this week about problem landlords and what the city is doing to crack down on them. So they just released a list of 40 or so landlords that they're calling problematic. So is this the beginning, to trying to crack down, on housing, concerns in Chicago?
Well, it's not the big beginning because I was the original drafter of the drug and gang house ordinance. So, problem landlords have been a problem for a long time. This is not a new problem. The approach to it is a little bit different now, but sometimes you have to do more than just embarrass them. Because we're talking about people's quality of life, and we're really, for a lot of these that are the worst of the worst, we're talking about safety issues, and nobody should be subjected to that. So, I'm glad to see this. It's just yet another tool that the city has to ensure people's, quality of life, and to have a residence that's safe.
Wonderful. Looks like we have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, do you have a question or comment?
I have a comment, and this is for Alderman Hairston. You're such a beautiful lady. I would like to say that she's been doing an excellent job. I'm a constituent in the 5th Ward. I've been a resident here for probably 50 years. I've seen it go and come. And since Alderman Hairston has been in office, this 5th Ward has never looked the way it's looked. We have the Starbucks. We're having things that we never had in this ward. And I would like to just say, keep up the good work. You're doing an excellent job. And on the 24th, we will be a victor.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you for that call. So the problem landlords are another thing. Now, also what a lot of people, let's hold my thought right there. We have another caller.
Okay.
Caller, are you there?
Hi, yeah, I actually live up on the north side, but I'm thinking about coming to visit your area. Is there an easy way to get there on public transit, or like the best way? And what do you think I should check out when I come into the area?
Well, I think that you can take Metra. Metra comes there, or you can take the bus, the number 14 Jeffrey, the Jeffrey Jump now. There are lots of things. There's, depending if you want to go to Hyde Park or South Shore, there's That's a Burger. There's the South Shore Cultural Center that you can visit. You've got the campus of the University of Chicago. You've got the Museum of Science and Industry. And, of course, we've got our beautiful lakefront. What better than that? We've got the 63rd Street Beach House. We've got golfing. If you just want to sit in the park and read a book, well, you can do that too.
Thank you for that call, caller. Okay, so a lot of things that people also want to learn more about is the red light cameras. Recently, City Council was looking at this, and what they're saying is that moving forward, that there should be studies done. Like if they want to have a red light camera at an intersection, let's do a study to see, if there's a need. And number two, raising the time of that yellow light from, 3 seconds to 3.2 seconds or more.
Well, I was not a supporter of the red light cameras, specifically, for these reasons. If there is going to be something that everybody has to abide by, there's got to be a process in place, and everybody has to know what their expectations are and what is expected of them. You cannot have some cameras or lights that are 2.9 seconds and others that are 3.2 seconds. Mm-hmm. There's got to be some consistency. It's very unfair to the driver for them not to know what is expected of them and then expect them to comply and then, whop them with a big fine when they don't, mm-hmm. Anticipate which one it's going to be or where it's going to be. So I think moving forward, we definitely have to put that kind of thought into what we're doing and how we're doing it. And if a lesson should be learned is that we don't have to do this within 24 hours. I mean, it should be methodically done and see whether it has the impact that is intended.
Wonderful. Yeah, there's a lot and that I believe is going to be continuing to be a hot button item as we move forward. So it looks like we have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller?
Hello?
Yes, hello. Hey, make sure that you please turn down your television set. Do you have a question or comment?
Yes. I have a comment. My name is Pittman, and I think Miss Alderman Hairston, she really pushes hard for her constituents, and I'm glad I'm one of them. I think she does a wonderful job.
Thank you, Ms. Pittman.
Yeah,
Ms. Pittman has been around, and she is very active, involved, and, you know, she scolds me, she speaks her mind, and she says when things are going well. So, you know, she has definitely been very, very involved.
Thank you for that call. Appreciate that. Looks like we have another caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Do you have a
Hello?
question or comment? Do you have a question or comment?
Yes, I do. My name is Bruce Efford, and I'm in the 5th Ward, and I'd like to just say Leslie Harrington has done an excellent job since she's been in office, and I want to continue to support her and cast my vote for her.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so like as you're getting closer, you know, as we're getting closer to the election, there's a lot of things that, you know, that people want to know, you know, and are looking, you know, we're looking at the alderman candidates, or looking at the mayoral candidates. What are you thinking about when you're getting closer to the election?
I'm still thinking about servicing my ward. I'm thinking about ways to make improvements. You know, you never stop running for office. Mm-hmm. You know, even after the election, the last election, you start again. You know, the thing about being a good public servant or a great public servant is that you never do stop, you know, because there's always something changing. This is an ever-changing, you know, world. I think about when I first took office, cell phones were a luxury, actually. And we had the two-way radio phones. You know, now there's Facebook, and there are, you know, everybody has a cell phone, everybody has a computer. You know, all you had was what was that? A word processor. That and you were you know, hip if you had a word processor. Now everybody has, you know, computers. You've got the internet. You can Google anything that you need. I mean, you know, so having to go do research on something is made a lot easier. Mm. So it's ever moving, and I think in order to do this job well, you have to be ever changing and on your toes at all the time.
And it looks like we have about 8 minutes or so left in the show, so if you have a question or comment, please call the number at the bottom of the screen, 312-738-1060. Now, speaking of the election, looks like let's talk about early voting. I believe that it starts February 9th. So these are for people who can't make it out to the polls or are busy on the day of the election?
You know, they're busy on the day of the election, or they may have some other issues. You know, I look at my mother. She's a senior citizen. She's got her day planned, what she likes to do. And she likes to go and vote early. You know, she's got some limitations, so this way she doesn't have to worry about standing in long lines, and that she can go at her convenience and get that done. And just for your information, the voting site for the 5th Ward is at the Jackson Park Fieldhouse, which is in the 6300 block, right at 6400 and Stony Island. And
again, if you need to get a hold of Alderman Leslie Hairston, there is the information on the screen right now. Call her office, 773-324-5555. You can also go to her website at leslieahairston.com, and her email address is lhairston@cityofchicago.org. Now, also, you can, in terms of registration, people apparently between January 28th and February 8th, there's in-person voting and registration.
Yes, and that takes place at 69 West Washington. So that would not take place at the ward office. You would have to go down to 69 West Washington, and they will accommodate you.
So now, getting back now to economic development, you know, I know callers were talking about a Starbucks. We're talking about a new type of grocery store that's going into your ward. What else? What's been going on in your ward in terms of economic development and jobs?
Well, you know, I mean, that's one of the things. I've already brought 3 other grocery stores to the ward. You know. We've had new businesses such as K&G Fashions, Anna's Linens. We had the Staples, which is no longer there. But, you know, that is, again, a result of what's going on in the world. People are ordering online. They're not going into their stores to shop. So we've had some of that. But, you know, we've had some smaller businesses crop up. And so we welcome them to the community.
And in terms of the economic development, we also talked about jobs. We talked about minimum wage. Now, obviously, we're looking at raising the minimum wage here in Chicago.
We have.
You know,
we did.
That's right.
We did.
And it starts in a couple of years now. So, what do you think about that? What's that going to do for your ward? What is that also going to do, you know, for the city of Chicago?
Well, raising the minimum wage is excellent, but we also got to have the jobs in the community. We've got to have the jobs in the community, and the same energy that has gone into revitalizing downtown and the South Loop area needs to come to the neighborhoods. And that's what we're working on. We're still coming out of the recession a little bit, and growth has been slow, but we still are seeing it, and these things do not happen overnight. It does take time. You have to lay the seeds. You have to do the planning. You have to get the zoning. So it takes a while, but with somebody that's aggressive like me and making sure that her ward is not left out, and saying it to whoever will listen, and going against whoever I need to go to make sure that my constituents have, I'm going to do. And I'm unapologetic about it.
Looks like we have about 5 minutes left in the show, so once again, call the number at the bottom of the screen if you'd like to talk with Alderman Hairston. Number's 312-738-1060. Now, we talked about, the jobs, we talked about minimum wage. Also, because you mentioned this about the recession, and a lot of people still are issues with housing.
Yes.
So what are constituents coming up to you and talking about their concerns?
Well, they always talk about their concerns. And the housing are some of the things that we just talked to. They want to make sure that they have clean, houses. They want to make sure that their landlords are responsive to them. And that's what we do. We also have a lot of condos, and there are disagreements with the the association and some of the owners. So we also address issues like that. Trying to help remedy some of the situations that arise. But mostly it is about having quality housing, and safety.
Now, as we're moving forward, as we're getting closer now into winter and into the areas where we get potholes, and sidewalks that aren't shoveled, what is the best route for folks in your ward to make sure that they can let or let the city know about potholes, about sidewalks aren't being shoveled?
Well, actually, I invite people to call my office directly. That way, we're getting the calls. We know what's going on. I obviously drive the ward every day. My staff drives the ward every day. We're looking for potholes, but if somebody sees a pothole somewhere, please call us directly, because when you call the city system, you go to the bottom of the computer, and we don't know that your call has come in. So we want to serve you. We want to take the calls, and then that way we can see, where the calls are coming from. We can see where the streets are and look at the streets to say whether, come the springtime, is that a street that needs to be torn up and resurfaced totally. So, it's more than just about reporting a pothole. It's about the state of the street and looking to see what to do and how to prepare for the spring.
And also, on top of that, also outside, but also inside, and making sure that elders are being taken care of, making sure that there's warming stations. Can you talk about that as well?
Yes. Well, my office is always a warming station. We use our Park District facilities as warming stations. Any of the police districts are warming stations, and our schools are warming stations.
Well, it looks like we're just about wrapping up on the show. So, is there anything that you'd like to talk about as we wrap up?
I am still really excited about the grocery store. I think that it's exciting that we are going to utilize the talents that we have in South Shore and the surrounding areas to bring something that the community has wanted for so long, and that it has been a very tough year for us. But we are resilient. We are bouncing back, and I'm excited to be a part of that.
Because in talking about the grocery store, I know that Chicago's all about bringing in some businesses, a lot of big businesses, but this is maybe smaller businesses too. That there's an avenue for smaller businesses to also open up and grow. Correct?
Well, small businesses stabilize communities, and that's what we need in South Shore. We need a stable community. I've been working with a group of former South Shore residents for the past 2 years, growing an incubator program. So we're trying to get some money in there to start small businesses and pair them with larger corporations and keep them in the neighborhood so that we do stabilize our community.
Well, thank you so much for your time tonight. The show flew by. And also thank you to our phone technician, Sylvia. And thank you for calling in, watching us tonight. Political Forum is on every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Join us next week as we have First Ward Alderman Joe Moreno. Until then, have a good night, everybody.